Definitely. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, DT, but I realized recently with the latest update to what am I recording on Zoom, you have to click record twice now. So I don't know what went wrong, but it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. How you doing this morning?
Ah, I don't know. I think fair to Midland popped up to mind. Do you remember what you've heard that before, but you know where it comes from?
I do not. It's probably old because my dad said it all the time.
It is pretty old. It comes from back in the day when people would buy bacon, and you go to the butcher and they would say, "What do you want?" He's got the whole slab sitting on it. So if you're not doing so good, you just get the fare, get the end of the bacon slab. The good stuff's in the middle. So if you say I'm doing fair to middle, that's halfway up. That means you're doing okay. You're not doing great, but you're doing okay.
Nice.
That's your history lesson for the day, and I don't think I have any more, so you're safe.
I wish I could
But I'm
lock
glad.
all those in anytime I learn something. It's nice. Like I try to file those and the filing cabinet drawer won't go in or something.
Ooh, my random access memory has gotten decidedly decisive over the years, or selective rather. See, there you go. Thanks for letting me get away with that. You let me get away with affinity and profinity early before too, so I appreciate that. But yeah, it's good. We're back for part two of three of our testosterone, I guess, study, right? Because in this study, just so everybody knows from episode one, which was pretty well received, so I hope a lot of people listened to it. Um, you and I had our blood work tested late last year. I was like in November. You were around the same time frame, and we both came back kind of the same, right around 570, which is I think the range for a dude is 200 to 600. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So we came in 570. Was it at the
A
higher
dude,
end
a
of?
dude of our age,
There
whatever
you
it
go.
is.
A dude of our age and our proclivities. Um, And yeah, so we're at the upper end of good, which is fine. And but you had some reasoning that you want to even take that a step further, right? You want to just to try to supplement on top of that?
Yeah. So, like I said, if you caught the first part, I won't go into all of it again. But yeah, I wanted to see some improvement in my some of it was vanity stuff, some of it's health stuff. As I age, I like to get some more energy or something, and so part of it's out of boredom as recent retiree or something like that. I'd like going to the gym more frequently, and was disappointed in the lack of gains I would get from the gym. Noticeable gains in you know my physicality and in the numbers, so, stuff I could do at the gym and stuff. So
Yeah, and there was a lot of things that you were talking about that I was like, I'm thinking, me too, things like that. And so I got hold of including like just general energy level, like as we get older, sleep quality. Everybody's hammering on sleep quality lately. I'm afraid to even check my watch. In fact, I haven't done it yet today. But I don't want it's like that was poor, like felt pretty good to me. But just overall, like I guess quality of life almost, and see if there is something related directly to testosterone. So I decided that I would be like the what do they call that in the chemistry experience? I'd be the control, and you would actually try the supplement. Because I got hold of my doctor and she was like, "No, I'm not going to let you have another prescription." And you got hold of a doctor and they suggested something. You mentioned it was the lowest dose that they had to supplement even a good testosterone.
yeah, so yeah, my normal practitioner, I ran the blood test, and I was working a bunch then and tired, and so my test came back 474, I believe. Excuse me, on my testosterone. I don't remember what the free testosterone was, but then I had it tested again by one of these teledocs from ads I would see on social media. There's 100 of them. If you're a male and you start talking about this or listen to this episode, you'll start seeing them in your feed probably. So one of those teledocs had a thing where they would run your blood test for 50 different markers or whatever. So my testosterone came back even higher with them because I'd been, better rested and stuff when I did it, and I had a 546.
There you go.
So, but they said, yeah, we can hook you up with testosterone or Cimarillin, or I'm sorry, not Cimarillin, enclomiphene. So uh, the enclomiphene triggers your body to make its own testosterone. And, so taking shots of testosterone, this pill of enclomiphene, they offered it to me in two different doses. I said, I'll take the lowest dose, 12 and a half milligrams daily. And then part of the deal was then they would do blood work again in 90 days and would see what kind of improvement. Some people it works well for, and some people not so much. So I said, yeah, I'm going to give it the test, test run and see how it does. So I have, and it's been 92 days, from the recording
Good.
date last time. It was kind of funny. The stuff actually got delivered during the recording last time.
Yeah, I remember that. You were
I
down in Florida, weren't you?
dropped off my prescription from a compounding pharmacy while we were recording. I started taking it that day 92 days ago, and I haven't missed a dose since. And I just got my blood work done a week or so ago and got the results back, or something like maybe a week ago when we were talking. I got the results. It took like 2 days to get the results back. And so I'm ready to talk about those results. And
Yeah,
you can talk about
let's do
your
that.
blood work done again, not doing this stuff.
Let's talk about the different areas, and thank you for bringing that up about uh the natural, this stimulates natural production, because I don't know about you. I think it's directly related to the fact that you and I probably were texting about this topic, but I am getting inundated where I used to be. It's gotten better now since I just stopped or started canceling the ads on Instagram, but so many other ways people are saying, like, to improve your life or improve your performance, or but they all focus on this is like the natural way. And I noticed, like, you and I were talking, that I had typed the word natural in my notes for this discussion. And I don't know what you want to consider natural or not, but well, I guess you do. I mean, but like you said, you had, the option between natural or artificial, and you chose natural production. But some of the areas that they were talking about directly related to testosterone were energy, sleep, the physical changes you're talking about, and then we can talk about what we've gone. But right now, so just speaking specifically to energy, do you see any difference in energy?
Yeah, I think so. I'm so it's not like I flipped a switch. I didn't go from the day I took it to the next day. All of a sudden, I'm on the walk to my car, stopping and doing push-ups and chin-ups and stuff, and just ready to go all the time. So it hasn't been one of those kind of resets. So I don't know. Like I said, I know what my result is. 90 days after the improvement in the testosterone and free testosterone levels, but I don't know how long it took to get. So if it took that whole 90 days to achieve that, or if I was 2 weeks after taking it, I got to that level and leveled off, because
Oh
this
yeah.
wasn't testing me every day to see what that level was. So um, I struggle with my weight like a lot of people. And so they say testosterone can help. A lot of times you gain weight in your midsection as your testosterone goes down. I've slept poorly since I was probably 45, and I'm 62 and change now. So um, and like I said, the stuff I want to see in the gym. So I don't know. Like I said, it's not been like flipping a switch. I do feel I have more energy. I wake up more rested. The sleep score I get from I sleeping with my watch on is showing that I'm probably sleeping 45 minutes to an hour more typically. Um,
I
so
can I can tell you that, for me, like, as the limiting factor. So you made me check my watch. Over 7 hours of sleep, and they're calling that fair, whatever. But as far as energy level goes, mine's basically exactly the same. It's I mean, I'll have ups and downs. Like yesterday at the gym, I don't know what happened. I was ready to rock and roll. But so I guess, like, for well, first of all, do you want to tell everybody what your level got up to on a recent test?
sure. So like I said, the last one before I started taking it, like I said, was 546, and my levels on my blood test the other day, they were hoping for greater than 600, and I was at 789. And
Yowza.
my free testosterone went from in the 50s to 129. And so I'm no wizard. I don't know what all that, how that relates 100%, but I'm in so now I have a dilemma. I don't know. I have to have a Zoom doctor's meeting or whatever in just 5 days with the uh, teledoc from the telemedicine place, and we'll go over. I'll get to discuss these numbers with him and some questions I have. Like there was one number that went up higher than what they what is ideal, and that's called estradiol. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yeah, we're gonna butcher some of these.
but so that number was 78, and they want it to be greater than 10, and it doesn't say what but they said that typically, I think when I was trying to look through Chat GPT or whatever, they said that you should be somewhere around 45. So I'm considerably higher than that, right? More than 50 or 60% higher than that. So I've got a question for the teledoc about that. Um, but
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I didn't know, and I'm just looking it up now. So I'll save everybody else a minute. Free testosterone is the small portion of unbound biologically active hormone available for immediate tissue use. So total testosterone measures everything, both free and protein bound, which they're calling inactive. And that's your initial screening. So free testosterone is what they use to diagnose low testosterone when symptoms persist, despite normal total levels. So whatever they want to use that for, but and you touch base on sleep. So I think for energy, mine stayed the same. Yours has gone up a little bit. Um, sleep, you seen a slight improvement? Same thing. I'm seeing nothing.
yeah, so like I said, like I said, if you're not taking this, I don't know if you're taking any other sleep aids. I'm not. Well, I've been taking magnesium for quite a while. So anyway, I've taken the normal stuff or what was not normal to me till a few years ago. So I take, vitamin C, vitamin B, zinc, uh, and fish oil. Um, what
Sounds
else?
like standard fare.
Yeah. So yeah, your stuff you're going to get at the health food store. A lot of, so I take most of those. I don't take ashwagandha. I don't know what that is or anything. I just take stuff that I've kind of,
No, it's a cool name though.
um, and so it's a
Ashwagandha.
daily routine. I don't skip it. I have alarms set on my phone, take your daily medications or whatever. Because I've lived, not a terribly, I wasn't Keith Richards, but I'm trying to live a more healthy, or what my perception of a more healthy lifestyle is. So
Funny because poor Keith still is the standard for not, right?
yeah,
But yeah, well, what were you were saying something about oh yeah, well, as far as supplements go, there are some additions there's some changes I made to the diet because talking with my doctor again, like she'll answer online questions, which is good. It takes a couple of days, but I get it. She's got a practice, so and she can tell I'm probably bugging her with health stuff. So she's like, "That's why I was telling you." She's like, "Go to the dermatologist." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Just go." So I went to get checked. I think she's just tired of hearing from me, but I asked her like in-depth questions about like you mentioned magnesium. I can't take it because magnesium's uh, known for reacting with anti or low blood pressure medication or cholesterol. One of the two, statins, I think, and I haven't taken those for years. But I looked into something called L-theanine. Have you heard of that one?
yeah. So that's in my magnesium that I take has that in it too. It's a
Yeah, yeah. I think long term it's supposed to help uh, both sleep and high blood pressure. What I think one's probably related to the other. So I've been taking it for a month, and I'm telling you right now, the only difference I've seen, and this is a fact, you can try it yourself if you want. I'm not so just what you know, like DT and I are saying things today that are no way considered to be a recommendation of what you should do. Just take a listen to it, and if things you want to change, hopefully this helps influence your decision. But nothing else, consult your medical physician or your medical doctor first. But L-theanine, so far, because I know it takes 2 or 3 months to be like to truly analyze the effects. But I'll tell you right now, brain activity, which is kind of creepy, but number one, I noticed because my dreams at night have gotten pretty weird. Not like nightmares, but weird and crazily detailed. But I think in the morning, and I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this before. And Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying. I think I saw it. It was Instagram, so it might have been bullshit there. Um, but it does increase brain activity. It's noted to do that. And I did look into the old Chat GPT physician, and they said, yeah, it's noted to do that. And so I'm going to keep it around if for no other reason because of that, because that's kind of fun. Like when you're dreaming, first of all, it's like crazy, but when you wake up in the morning, it's like bam, you're sharp. I take it before bed. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's like I said, I take that stuff. I've been taking creatine for probably a year, and I was doing the five
Yeah,
milligram dose, and probably in the last 2 months or so, I've upped that to the 7 or 8 milligram, whatever the big heaping scoop of it, and so and like I said, comparing apples to oranges, I wasn't. I've worked out for quite a few years, but not religiously. Not when I could fit it into my schedule. Sometimes I might go a month without. So over the winter, I tried some semi-retirement, and I was on a routine where I went 3 to 4 times a week, probably 4 times a week. I would bet for
do you
2 months.
have a specific training approach that you use?
Yeah, I joined the Arnold's Pump Club, and I was doing one of their. I did one of their 12-week workouts, and then over the winter I did one that lasted a couple months that was a different workout, more higher intensity, and I was doing that 4 times a week as scheduled. um, and so I wasn't doing the enclomiphene in a vacuum. I've been doing that with the workouts, the
Yeah.
trying to be healthier, and up my protein level, actually tracking it, trying to get somewhere between 160 and 200 grams of protein a day because I'm a big person. So I've lost a little weight, and uh, I've lost a bunch of weight through different ways over the last several years. I I did the Noom. I still subscribe. I still track all my food. I've been doing that for 3 years plus or something probably, where I
Yeah, I
track my
can't, I can't, I can't keep consistent track of food. I just generally, kind of track it.
food. It's a habit. If I eat, when I take a picture of it or track it or log it in there and get all the details, how many, if I'm hitting all my macros, if you want to call them that or whatever. Um, and so my weights has been tracking as low as it has in probably over 25 years. I've gone from a high of 305 pounds 3 or 4 years ago. Then it was down to in the 250, 260 range. And then in the last several months, it's trended down where I'm 235. It'll vary from 233 to 237, but today it was 235.
And you're about 6 foot tall, right?
Yeah, I'm 6'1". I was 6'1" and a little change. I'm older, so uh, I'm sure 6'1" or
That's
something.
funny because I was 6'3", and I'm just like it was 6'2" and a little change.
Yeah, um, so
So you're down. You say quite a few pounds. I'm me, and just the case by case example. I'm down 2 or 3 pounds, but I'll just stay right at where I've been for like the last decade. It's just my life is like the 22-20 life. It's because ever since I've had the scale that weighs you and also does your percent body fat. So mine's been 220 pounds and 20 pounds or 20% body fat, and it fluctuates up and down. Like when I wrote these notes, I was down 3 pounds, body fat 18%, but there's nothing saying I'm not back at 220 this morning and body fat 20%. So it just stays there. So I don't really even check every day. But
no,
I've
I
been
have the
doing
same
this.
kind of scale, and I try to um, weigh. For some people, I have a friend who weighs once a week, and that worked for her. She's lost a bunch of weight. She checks it, I think every Sunday. I check every day, except for so I'll do that every day, and then I went out of town for work for 3 weeks or something. I was staying in a hotel, didn't check at all. Came home, I had gained 5 pounds, and then it went off real quickly. Um, You know, I was going to the gym less, one of those things, working 90 hours a week or whatever. So, and eating in restaurants 3 squares a day. So, um, but I notice a difference in, muscle tone and stuff like that. I'm not gonna, impress anybody walking around with my shirt off at the beach. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
amen.
say, look at, unlike, another friend of ours who does look like, Hercules or something, but I'm less ashamed or whatever the word would be, disgusted or whatever the word would be, um,
Self-conscious.
self-conscious, walking around with, if I'm at the beach or something where I do have my shirt off, I'm not like thinking everybody's going to harpoon me because, a whale walked ashore. And I've
Well,
noticed
yeah, I mean,
improvements in strength and stuff like that. And it's hard to say which of it's from the testosterone. I think the testosterone's made the workout better. The workout being better has made the musculature better.
I'll give big credit to what was that one supplement we just talked about? As far as strength goes, it's a
Oh,
powder. You just
creatine.
turned up to 7
Creatine.
creatine. I'll give the strength gain directly to creatine. I noticed it right away, but also, I use a structured approach as well. You use the Arnold Schwarzenegger guided app. I use the Jim Stepani, who's a PhD in exercise physiology. For like, I'll go various different. He's got different workouts, but he structures them differently. And this one's an 8 week one right now. I'm on week 7, but you can tell they're structured every week. And I've seen consistent strength gains, like in what I can lift and what I do lift. I don't know about you, but I get disappointed when, like, I'll know to say, for example, I can bench press, 5 times 5 times 225, but then I'll see another guy in the gym. I remember texting our buddy Mook, the podcast fitness guru, at that, I saw another guy who looked pretty big and strong and like he does it a lot, but he was waiting for somebody to spot him at 225. I'm like, but I can do that. But I look like a chicken. I look like a featherless chicken.
Yeah, so I haven't done any weightlifting to see what my max one rep or my max few reps is. And that's
I
and
haven't in a while.
my program, part of the program I follow on there does have you trying to do that on there. It's one of those things I just have never done, and I've been following the app for, whatever, it's what considerable amount of time. Um, but I'm also more worried about injuries than I ever was before. So, we discussed when you told me what you could do, and I said I'll never know because I'm probably not going to load up and try it.
Yeah, I
Right
will. It's a
now, I'm
problem.
dealing with a torn meniscus and, some other
You
knee
sure it's a
injuries.
torn meniscus?
Yeah. Um,
The diagnosis is a torn meniscus?
yeah. So I'm doing, so leg day has changed dramatically because of that while I'm waiting to get, the next appointment. Um, so, walking around like Festus or something on Gunsmoke, if any of the listeners are old enough or whoever walks
Yeah,
around like
I
that.
don't. I have no idea. Just give me. I'll just like crotchety old man. That's good enough.
Yeah.
But
So limping pretty badly.
that
Favorite.
requires surgery, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, depends on the severity of the tear and stuff. So, um, and so seeing a doc, it's not one of those emergencies where they go in because you're not bleeding. So they don't like, hey, let's do that tomorrow. So the jag bags, anyway, different subject. So anyway, I'm not able, I was doing a bunch of exercises I've never done in my life,
Yeah,
different
those jump squats. Damn it! Ever since you started talking about it, I realized they got incorporated into mine.
jump squats, all that kind of stuff. And now I haven't done those for 4 weeks or whatever it's been. Um, and so, and I liked doing those. Um,
Boy, you're a glutton.
I want to get improvements in VO2 max. I'd like to get improvements in strength. And, you say you don't care about the vanity. I am, I guess, vain enough where I care about the vanity part of it, where actually,
A little, sure. I just come to realize nothing's ever going to change for me. I've been the same consistent featherless chicken for my whole life. But I think it's understanding, like you get this quiet understanding that if something were to come up or to need me to be in physical shape, and you may feel the same way, I'm ready for it. But I also have that sprained ankle because of, I think, the increased massive amounts of calf workouts on this Jim Stepani workout. And I texted the doctor. She's like, send me a picture. She's like, is it possible your ankle sprained? I was like, it's possible. But so yeah, I guess for both of us, we're seeing a little bit of limitations now as a result of, but during the workouts we were doing.
Yeah. Um, so I like the work. I like the gains, and like I said, the vanity part of it. I would like to. I remember John Mellencamp discussing when he had an album out 30 years ago when he had long hair, had the paper and fire, and all. He goes, "I want to have long hair one more time before I'm too old for it." I'd like to get in shape one more time. Um, I don't have some of the other hobbies, so like I said, I just recently retired. Um, and just started getting my Social Security, started doing the retiree stuff. And I like spending those hours at the gym, and I'd like to get the
Yeah,
result
yeah.
for what I feel like the effort I put into it is. And
Well, yeah, it's part of it's also I think psychological because going to the gym is like where you quote unquote kind of chase your demons. You're just in there working hard, banging it out. Let's be honest, staring at yoga pants maybe, but banging it out. Just and I enjoy like I'll accidentally be in there for 2 hours and I'm fine with that.
yeah, so I thought it's kind of funny. Arnold, I was listening to his podcast or whatever the other day, and he said it really ramped up and really started when he turned 70. Everybody asked him when he was going to stop working out. And so I'm of the theory, and I remember my dad working out till real close till he died and stuff like that. And I like Arnold saying, he goes, just because I've been doing something a long time doesn't mean I'm going to ever stop it. He goes, I've been eating breakfast my whole life, and I'm not going to stop that. So it's one of those habits that is part of who he is. And I would like to incorporate, like I noticed with this knee injury, for instance, people are like, well, why would you work out? So right now, getting off the toilet stance or getting onto it, trying to lower myself down because of my knee injury. So many old people have to have their bathrooms modified, or they can't, they have to worry about falling, getting off and on a toilet at some point in their future
Rails.
if we're lucky enough to live that long. So I would like to have leg strength, balance, um, all these things that come with, the benefits of the workout. So,
Yeah, I'll give you credit today, DT. You're crushing the analogies. You're crushing the summary of why you're still doing it, and also you're crushing the willpower by referencing Arnold by not doing his voice imitation.
yeah.
I
So,
still eat breakfast.
so he's one of those people. So did he get it naturally? Was he, Mr. Olympia in 1972 naturally? I'm sure not. I don't know
Probably not.
what was available then. Who knows? Who knows what they were taking then? But I know he still puts in the work. He says, he still goes, finds time to go to the gym, and he says, if you think that I wake up every day motivated to work out, you're mistaken. He goes, but it comes to me sometimes after the workout or whenever,
Yeah,
but it's and that's the way I don't wake up like and I don't know if you do, but like this morning I woke up and I should have gotten up earlier, made my trip to the gym before we recorded, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to be rushed around when I go to the gym. So when we're done, I'm going to go work out. I've had some people tell me that they liked the first episode we did on this, so I said the
me too.
stuff, I know a woman who's very feminine who takes or was taking some testosterone. Uh, and so, we all have, whether man or woman, you have estrogen and testosterone in you. And um, so I worried about like mood and aggressiveness too, with getting my testosterone levels up. So far, I would sort of feel like the opposite is true. I'm in a less aggressive, grumpy mood from taking this and
You're
clomiphene.
supposed to, right? Isn't that part mentally? Isn't that something that's supposed to change when you're supplementing testosterone?
Yeah, I know, people that do steroids have steroid rage or whatever. And I've always been one of those very quick to anger people. It's a character flaw,
No,
one of my
no.
many character
Is it?
flaws.
Is this the same person you're saying that called me a chicken the other day when we were talking politics?
Yeah, could be. So, they called me a one puller chain, like those chainsaws that did those shows where the guys are, cutting trees in a contest. The chainsaw takes off running wide open with one pull. The guys at work used to call me
Yeah.
that. One
Again,
pull.
another good analogy. But
So,
in summary, what changed? I mean, because we're going to do three phases. So from phase one to phase now, what really changed is for you, your testosterone level increased. I don't know if mine has yet or changed at all. So I'll have a test before the final episode in 3 months. My strength improved, your strength improved, right?
yep, yep.
No change in energy or sleep for me, but you're saying you're feeling an improvement in both energy and sleep?
Yeah, yeah, I believe so. Like I said, it's pretty hard to, you know, quantitatively to say how much of an improvement, but I just know I'm, getting higher scores on my sleep scores on my, device that I wear that measures that. And
Yeah, yeah.
stuff I
I'm
measure
glad
at
to
the
have you.
gym. I log my reps in an app. Um,
Well, you're a lot more diligent than I am as far as recording that information, especially in relation to food. I tried it for a while. I just can't stick with it. But I do. I will say we also looked into. We have a recent episode about biohackers. My friend Gavin, who was from Australia, and he was a former physical trainer, and we talked about biohackers. Like you talked about all these people that come up with these ideas of what to do. This is what's right. And most of these quote unquote biohackers, like the chair tai chi dudes, are kind of unfortunately chair tai chi is partially valid, but they take it too far where it becomes a bit of a farce trying to get to your money. But there are some pearls of wisdom, and if you want to listen to that episode, it's called Biohackers and Pearls, I think. But episode 195, it's there's some valid information there. Like you talked about the energy levels being different. Like I bring it up because one of the people with a valid approach, part of his approach was to improving um, your energy level is to, if you're a coffee drinker, don't have a cup of Joe when you wake up. Wait about an hour, hour and a half, and that'll kind of like balance your energy through the day. But one also of note, like that's why I was asking about, you've got the Arnold program, I've got the Jim Stepani program. That's why I brought up that he's a PhD. It's important to get your information from reliable and reputable sources that you can validate. So by all means, as you're listening to this and listening to what DT and I are doing, from a common man approach. Put it all together. Do your diligence and don't think of what we're saying uh, is the Bible. But let me ask you about your recovery time, DT. It's because you sound a little bit beat up.
well, yeah, I guess 1/4 of my limbs are, the rest are fine or as fine as they normally ever are.
But you're managing fine. I mean, little or no. For me, it's little or no difference. I'm managing fine. I'll have the muscle soreness like everybody. You talk about going to the gym, like my shoulder hurts. I decided to cure it by going back to the gym, that kind of thing. But I'm back to lifting normally on shoulders and stuff. The only thing slowing me down a bit is that calf, or that, excuse me, that ankle that was swollen. But I'm icing that down, and it's going down. So I expect to be back at full strength here shortly.
Yeah, so yeah, whenever I get back to full strength, I get back to full strength. Like I said, there's plenty of stuff I can do at the gym that doesn't involve, you know, overworking that one gimpy knee.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Work around it.
You
I've got
can
a
look
leg
for
workout today.
excuses.
I've got to work around it.
Yeah, anybody can look for excuses not to go to the gym, not to work out, not to get some sort of exercise, right? I mean, I've done it. Whatever. Oh, I don't feel like going today because this thing or that thing or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I did it Tuesday.
yeah. So, um, we talk about recovery. I'm doing the recovery that it recommends. The days, whatever every other day workout or not doing every body part as frequently or something like that. And so
Yeah,
we'll
I'll do
see
whatever.
how the journey goes. Like I said,
I'll do whatever the doctor says, Dr. Jim, whatever he says. Like this week, it's a six day a week workout. Last week was a 6 day a week workout. Um, it's important though. I think let me ask you real quick though. This is a benefit. So people, as you're looking forward to another reason for retirement, isn't it nice you can just plan whatever part of the day you want to go to the gym?
Yeah, sometimes I go in the morning. So I'm liking the fact I'm not getting up at 0 dark 30 to go to work now. Um, I
Yeah, I wish I could shake that off, but I'm still doing it.
remember I was getting up before at 4:15 or 4:20 or something to go to work, and now I get up at usually birds or something wake me up, or the garbage truck on, whatever, at 7:15, something like that, and
Wow. I
I'm
envy you
staying up
that.
later. Stay up later watching television, which is kind of my natural. I would rather, you know, I've never been a go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock kind of guy, even when I have to get up at 4:15. So, um, there's, let me look at my calendar. There's nothing on it from now till the end of eternity, or my eternity. So, I have a Zoom doctor's call on in 5 days, and I've got to return this idiot from State Farm who's calling me's call uh, when we're done here. And, other than that, I get to do what I want when I want. And I've never
That's,
liked a plan. I don't care if it's for a haircut or a doctor's appointment or whatever. It's
I
aggravating.
can't get out of the regiment. I've been in bed by 10 o'clock and up at 6 a.m. for the last probably 40 years and can't shake it off. But,
Yeah, no, you guys are
but
idiots. That's why I have the text muted, until I get up in the morning. I actually shut, so I know I've missed a dozen or so from a couple of guys this morning on a group text, but it doesn't
yeah,
bother
and
me.
that's
Yeah, so
my
10 of
sons
them.
even told me to do that. But as a parent, you don't ever shut your volume down. I know both my boys are grown. They're like in their late 30s, and they probably are never going to text me, but it has happened in the last couple, 3 years. So if there's a chance, then a parent will probably leave their phone on all night long. But but I'm glad we got together to discuss like exactly like we were supposed to do. Not like the gold issue, but we'll talk about that because we might come back through with phase two and chasing Sam Bass's gold someday too, because we have that kind of time now. But but yeah, I'm glad to hear like of your progress, of your tracking closely, like I knew you would. I'm trying to stay close to it too, and track. And we'll be back again with this in 3 months. I think it's timed right because we're talking about delivering this episode in May, so it'll be June, July, August. So the holidays won't be that far away. So you maybe use this information to track how you want to behave in the holidays when you come back with part three.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just did the math. I had a gain of about 45% in my testosterone, taking the 12.5
Yeah, and
milligrams.
there's one thing, I mean, and you can talk to your doc about too, but I know once you exceed like the upper level is 800, it can be another concern too. So I'm sure you've
Yeah,
talked
there's
about
some
that.
monster in my gym I was talking to a few weeks ago, and he was always cheating his test and getting prescriptions from multiple doctors and taking everything available. He
Yeah,
benched
that's a good
five,
idea.
525, and he said his testosterone was 3,000. And 6'4", he's like a freaking monster. And while I would
That's
like
what
to feel like he probably feels for a day or something like that, it'd be cool to walk around.
yeah, yeah. There's that debate too. I don't want to touch natural versus not natural,
So
but
yeah, he's definitely not natural. He's taken
there you
uh,
go. There you
hands
go.
everything he can get, and so
You want to see natural? Come stop, swing by that boneless chicken over there benching 225 pounds. That'll be me. And I'll show you why my physique doesn't look like it. And I can almost not give a frog's fat ass, but maybe a little, like you say, maybe a little vanity going on.
yeah, it'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it, to have like one of those flat stomachs that you see,
Yeah,
alcohol. So,
I hear
uh,
rumors about it, and there's no such thing as spot reduction. So you
yeah,
just
I
got to do
know.
the
So
whole damn thing.
that's the hardest part of this, I think, is trying to get your visceral fat and different, whatever gone. So I have less chins than I've had in the past, so that's nice.
I was just listening to a Nick Swartzen on the old Spotify, and he said he turned 40, and it's like one of the things that he knows we got when he was 40 was another chin, another chin. Yeah, but But yeah, DT, it's good catching up and good, like I say, hearing about the progress. Stay the course. It seems like you're doing great. You seem, for the most part, unless we're talking politics, pretty happy. So keep up the good work, and we'll see what happens in 3 months at phase three, and we'll do the final summary.
All right. Yeah. Good talking to you too. Like I said, take all that with a grain of salt. I'm not recommending anybody do what I do, but I just, when we talked about this idea for this episode, thought it might interest uh, some of the listeners who are, maybe looking for some ways to improve some
Yep.
stuff, willing to take the risk.
There's no end to what we won't do. We'll test the cheap bourbons. We'll test the testosterone. We'll do whatever it needs to be the kind of full service podcast that you deserve and enjoy. So again, thanks everybody for sticking around. And by the way, if you haven't yet, get over to the newly updated MitchWonders.com page. It looks pretty good, I think. And there's some good whiskey reviews there. The latest episodes are always going to show up there. And if you want to leave a comment for either DT or myself, every episode now on the description, there's includes a link to click on, and you can respond anonymously. Trust me, it goes straight to Google, not to me or anybody else. And then Google lets me know if there's something in there I need to check. So it'll be completely anonymous. Or if you want some feedback, let us know. Leave like an email address, and we'll respond to you. If you got episode suggestions, put it in there too. But thanks everybody for sticking around and listening to us, and thanks again, DT. And we'll see you certainly before then, but again, 3 months.
Yeah, take care.
Later, buddy.